and welcome back to another video. We have more of a relaxed, light-hearted one today, I think, not heavily scripted or anything, because, well, lots of reasons actually. If you've been following me over on Instagram, if not, please do, it's quite nice over there. I post pictures of my dog, Kyra, photos that I've taken, places that I've been, books that I'm reading, art that I'm making. It's quite fun. And I also kind of talk about other projects and stuff that I'm working on, and I've got a lot of stuff going on kind of behind the scenes at the minute. I'm currently writing a book. I'm also potentially a little bit crazy, like I've started reaching out to some literary agents and stuff, and I'm thinking about maybe like trying to get this or another book published at some point instead of just like self-publishing and going alone all the time. So lots of stuff going on behind the scenes there. And also, you might have realised from my last few videos, I've been having a lot of issues with my tonsils and my throat and a lot of pain, and I lost my voice for a long time, and even though my voice seems like it's back now, I'm still in quite a lot of pain. My throat, I think I might have done a little bit of damage, so I'm trying to reduce the amount I'm talking at the minute. So this isn't going to be an overly long video, it's not going to be overly scripted, because I still need to rest my voice, and I'm honestly just quite exhausted with a lot of the stuff going on. But for a little bit of fun, because I still like putting content out for you guys, I still like having the interactions with you, and I still, you know, feel like I owe you videos. So today we're going to be doing something a lot less serious than some of my videos have been recently, and we're going to be looking at some Reddit posts from the Am I the Bad Guy subreddit of people asking were they the bad guy in various situations. These are always quite relaxed videos, they always bring up a lot of interesting topics, and I like to do them occasionally, not only because I quite like to have a nosy in on some juicy drama going on in other people's lives, because why not, it's fun sometimes, isn't it? But also because I think it is a really good exercise in trying to understand other people, in trying to figure out what motivates people, why do people do the things they do, just something I ask all the time, what people actually mean by certain actions. It's good trying to see someone else's perspective, even when, like, you know, you think, oh, well, that's an awful thing, but then you have to, like, stop and think, well, actually, why were they doing that? Why were they thinking that? Why do they think they're in the right? And it just kind of helps you understand people a little bit better, I think. And also, then you can start applying those skills to your own life and your own actions, and kind of critically assess your own behaviour towards other people. So overall, I like to think it helps make me understand people better, try and be a better person myself, and hopefully you guys can get something out of these videos as well. With that in mind, let's jump into these posts. The first two are very dog-centric, because I like dogs and I found them interesting, but then the other two that we're going to be looking at talk about different topics. I think I'm going to try and do 4. We'll see how my voice holds up. So, let's have a read. Am I the bad guy for calling our dog walker inhumane for not letting out our neighbour's dog? We recently moved to a new area and have a new dog walker who we like and my dog loves. On Sunday night, our old neighbours asked us if we could watch her dog for the week because she wanted to take an impromptu trip. Her dog and ours have been best friends since they were puppies, and we watch her all the time, so we said yes immediately. We told our walker that there would be another dog in the house on Tuesday morning, but that she didn't need to walk her, just let her into the backyard for a wee would be fine. She said she was uncomfortable without having met the dog, so we asked her if she could come over Monday night to meet her. The dog was being dropped off Monday afternoon. She agreed, but never showed. She texted us Monday night asking us to crate the neighbour's dog because she wasn't sure if the dog would like her. We understood her position and we crated her, but we warned her that it would likely stress both dogs out since they will want to be together. She said she'd let us know how it went and agreed to let the neighbour's dog out in the yard if she felt comfortable. We leave the house at 7 AM. Dog walker typically comes at noon. We hadn't heard anything and texted her at 2. She didn't respond till 4:45 and sent a long message about how both dogs were stressed and barking and what an unsafe situation we put her in. We started to worry because at this point the neighbour's dog had been crated all day and we have a long commute, normally home around 6. We asked her to clarify if she'd let the dog out, and it took her another hour to tell us that she didn't. My husband got really upset and sent her a long text about how irresponsible it was to not let us know that she wasn't able to let the dog out as soon as it happened, as we would have left work early to let her out. He called her inhumane since the dog was in the crate for 11 hours. We rushed home and the poor thing had been holding it in the whole time and limped/ran outside to pee. Poor girl. The walker never responded to my husband's text, but made a Facebook post on our local Buy Nothing group where we got her contact info about how she needs an outlet for her anger and how people in the neighbourhood had abused her safety at work. She got many sympathetic comments and lots of comments about what a wonderful dog walker she is. And she is. Our dog loves her. Did we handle this wrong? We had no expectations of her walking the other dog and realised that we shouldn't have put it on her last minute, but how could she not have at least let us know that she couldn't let the dog out of her crate? And then there's a few extra bits of information. We did offer to pay her more with our previous dog walker. We paid her double to walk both dogs because our neighbour would pay us back. Our neighbour knows we work all day and that we have a dog walker come. Our previous dog walker would let both dogs out without issue, and did so never having previously met the neighbour's dog. We fully and completely understood her position and being uncomfortable. We don't care that she didn't let the dog out, that's fine. We would never want her to risk her safety. We're upset that we weren't told till the end of the day, even though this occurred around noon, and we could have come home to let the poor thing out. For those saying she was clearly uncomfortable and we should have made other arrangements, her last text was on Monday night, which we felt comfortable after receiving, was, yes, totally possible. I will do everything I can to make sure she gets taken care of and we'll let you know how it goes. Sorry I didn't have time to come meet her. If you have asked her breed, she's a pit/boxer mix. We informed the walker of this. For all those who instantly think that means she's an aggressive dog, the dog is infinitely more patient and gentle than our mutt. During the pandemic, my neighbours fostered all kinds of animals of all sizes and ages, and their dog loved them all, including a litter of 10 kittens, who spent 6 weeks beating her up all day. She also grew up with 2 young kids, but then again the walker couldn't have known that, so I totally understand her not being comfortable with the unknown dog, but we would never put her in an unsafe situation. A stranger could literally sit on her and she would be thrilled. A lot to unpack here. I know there's a lot of people out there in the world who just don't like dogs and hate dogs, and if you're one of them, then you're probably not going to fit in here, and that's okay to leave this video and never come back. I don't mind. Also, people who hate pit bulls in general, again, please leave, that is fine. I don't. My girl Kyra is a Staffy, which isn't a pit bull, but she is kind of closely related, and because she has a similar facial structure, a lot of people mistake her for being an aggressive pit bull when really she's the biggest teddy bear, and she's currently snoozing over there in the bathroom. You might be able to hear her snores at the minute. She's a wonderful girl, I love her. She is the most kind, gentle, loving dog I've ever met, and I think she's wonderful. There was a lot going on in that story. Let's recap. 2 dogs. They said you can come meet this unknown dog beforehand, get to know her, but we'll put her in the crate to make sure you're safe. If you don't feel safe letting her out, let us know and we can come home early. But this dog walker left it another, what was that, 5.5, nearly 6 hours? It was 5:45 before she let them know that she hadn't let the dog out. So the dog had to wait 5 hours in the morning until the dog walker got there, and then another 7 hours in the afternoon before it was allowed to go out to the toilet. And leaving your dog alone for 5 hours isn't ideal, but it's okay. A dog can be left alone that long. That's fine if you have to. You can hold it in for that long, it's okay. But making a dog hold it in for 12 hours while locked in a small crate is not okay. That is inhumane. And the dog walker's not necessarily at fault for not taking the dog out, although I think she absolutely could have. But I think she's not at fault for not taking it out. She's at fault for not telling them that she didn't for another nearly 6 hours and letting that dog suffer in that time. Anyone with an ounce of compassion for dogs knows that they can't hold it in that long. And if it had had an accident, it would have been locked in a crate with its own excrement. That's not fair on the dog at all. Anyone with like an ounce of understanding of animals knows that a dog shouldn't be left alone for that long, it shouldn't be locked in a crate for that long, and it shouldn't be stopped from going to the toilet for that long. I also wonder, like, did she not give the dog food? Did she not replace its water and make sure it had access to clean water? Like, what else could have happened with this dog? It could have been dehydrated, it could have been hungry. Clearly, she says the dog was barking, and they told her the reason it would be barking and stuff is because it wanted to be with its friend and playing with its friend. So it's not like she just thought it was being aggressive for no reason or aggressive towards her. She was told the reason for that behaviour and knew what to expect. So I just don't think there's any excuse on her part other than being irresponsible and lacking empathy. And I think it's inhumane to leave a dog locked up for that long. If you can't do it yourself, get someone else to do it. She should have been in touch with the owners to tell them, hey, I can't do this, can you? And like they say, the owners would have come home, or maybe they could have got someone else to do it, or things like that. No one's saying she had to do it herself, but it was her responsibility to let other people know that this dog had its needs met or not. That was her responsibility, and the fact she didn't, and she didn't care, and she just let that dog suffer without saying or doing anything is horrific, in my opinion. It really, really upsets me. I can't stand people who mistreat animals. Really can't. And in this case, sure, she's not doing anything to actively harm the dog. She's not kicking it or hitting it or shouting at it. Sure, she's not actively harming it, but she's not helping it either. And leaving it locked up in a cage all day, potentially without water, definitely without access to a toilet, definitely like locking it away from its friend that it wanted to be with, that is harming the dog, and that is cruel. And if I were these people, I would not hire this walker again. Can you imagine if someone said this about, like, a kid having a temper tantrum? Like, a teacher in a school says, oh yeah, like, this kid had a temper tantrum and I felt scared, so instead of informing the parents, instead of getting another member of staff, I just locked it in a cupboard for 12 hours. Because at the end of the day, they're still all animals, they're still all living things, whether it's a kid or a dog. I think they both deserve the same level of care and respect. So, yeah, I think the dog walker's wrong. Simple as that. Let's read some of the comments though. I've not read these, so I don't actually know what the people think. We'll just read a few of the top ones, I think. Not the bad guy, I get it. A new dog is thrown into the mix and she was understandably concerned. However, y'all, I love Americans, y'all agreed a meet and greet for her comfort and she blew it off. Exactly, she had that opportunity and she decided no. Like, that's her fault. Y'all, I can't say y'all. It just sounds stupid in an English accent, doesn't it? Y'all. You created the dog at her request under the agreement that she would let you know how it went when she got there. She did not follow through on that. In fact, she was MIA for hours to the detriment of the poor created dog. Find a new dog walker. This one is unreliable. Absolutely. I 100% agree. This person says, not the bad guy, I'm a dog walker. I would never have left this poor dog in a crate and not tell the owners immediately that I wasn't able to help. Her actions were completely unprofessional. I would never want her as a dog walker. Exactly. Not the bad guy, she needs to communicate better. Kind of seems like she's afraid of dogs, to be honest. Again, maybe true, and if that's the case, that's fine, you can't blame her for that. Lots of people are scared of dogs. But then maybe find a different job and make sure there are other people around to take care of the dogs that you can't, because your fear doesn't mean you should allow someone else to suffer, you know? Someone else here being the dog. Yeah, exactly. This one says, I thought that was odd too. Most dogs bark when they're stressed. It's not exactly an automatic sign of being aggressive, so I don't know why she feels the safety was compromised at all, especially with the neighbour's dog in a crate. Exactly. Barking is mostly a stress response, and it's actually the fun thing about barking. Not really fun thing, but like interesting fact about barking. So I read in a book, apparently, don't know if this is true, so correct me if I'm wrong, but some like scientists and people who study dog behaviour suggest that barking's actually like a trait that dogs learn socially, if that makes sense, like from being around other dogs who bark, and that most dogs, if they're not around other barking dogs, just won't really bark very much. Which I was always like, oh, that seems a bit silly. Barking seems like a natural thing for dogs. And then I got Kyra and I was like, oh, yeah, no, actually, she doesn't bark at all. I can count on my hand the number of times that she's barked in the 4 and a bit years since I've had her. Like, and only ever individual barks. She once barked at a swan that was bigger than her. She once barked at a delivery driver who came to the wrong house. Like, he came to our house at like 2 a.m. when we were in bed. He got the wrong one and she was scared, so she barked once at the door. And she has such a deep little bark for such a small girl, it's great. And then a couple of times, like, if you're playing with her, and say, for example, she's got a ball in her mouth and you throw a stick, she'll chase after it, and she's like, oh no, but like, I want to get this, but I can't, I've got the ball, I don't want to drop the ball, and I want to get the stick. So she'll let out this little, like, half bark under her breath with a ball in her mouth, and be like, oh, great, I love her, she's wonderful. Anyway, so the point is, yeah, barking doesn't mean a dog's aggressive. Usually it just means they're stressed about something, they're trying to communicate something. That's all it is. They're trying to communicate in the best way they know how. Yeah, exactly. Someone else said here, I have a dog who barks when he's excited, when he's anxious, when he sees a squirrel, when he's impatient or wants attention. Sometimes he even barks in his sleep. Barking can mean a whole slew of things, and I'm surprised someone who walks dogs doesn't know that. Exactly. And then there's a few people here like being kind of douchey and be like, oh, but it's a pit bull, what do you expect? No one should have to be around a pit bull. But they're douchebags and I'm not even going to entertain their ideas. Some people call me naive for this, but as someone who's spent a hell of a lot of time around dogs and loves dogs, and I just feel naturally very comfortable with a lot of dogs. And I've been around dogs with behavioural problems, and I've helped train dogs from being puppies, and I've helped train older dogs who've had behavioural problems and stuff, and like I've been around a lot of dogs. I don't believe breed is as influential on dogs' behaviour as so many people think. I mean, obviously, it's like, oh yeah, these breeds are going to be more likely to be high energy. These breeds are going to potentially have these health problems, so you need to look out for that. these breeds tend to favour these kinds of games, these toys, these snacks. These breeds might be more likely to have this personality or this personality, but that doesn't mean all of X breed are this, this, and this. That's not the case at all. Every single dog is an individual, and I do think there are some dogs that are potentially a little bit beyond help if they've been mistreated or they've gone through a lot. Dogs struggle with things like PTSD too, and there are a lot of dogs who have high anxiety because of the way they've been treated or the way they've been brought up or the life they've had. But on the whole, I would say that every single dog, regardless of breed, if you treat it with love and compassion and respect and you train it properly, every dog can be a good dog. I don't believe you should just write someone off based on their breed at all. Obviously, some dogs need more help than others, but again, that mostly comes down to how they've been treated, how they've been brought up, what they've lived around and their experiences, rather than inherently what their breed is. Anyway, so, none of the pit bull hate, and if there's any of that here, I will probably just block you at this point, because I have like zero tolerance for that stuff. Anyway, let's move on to the next one, which is also about a dog, but this one upset me, and I have thoughts. I have so many thoughts. Okay, this one asks, am I the bad guy for not letting an obese woman adopt a dog? Initial thoughts, yes, but let's read on. I work at an animal shelter, so basically get paid to play with dogs. My favourite days are the ones where I spend my 8-hour shift throwing frisbee and playing chase with the dogs in the yard, so naturally I fell in love with Rocky. Rocky was taken to us several months ago by a couple that didn't have the time or energy to care for him. He's a breed that will destroy furniture if not adequately exercised, but when he is exercised, he's a very good boy. When I let him out of his kennel, he showers me with kisses, and I'm always reluctant to put him back. In the several months I've known him, I've hardly seen him tired. Because of his activity level, he's gotten no adoption applicants. That changed at an adoption event a few weeks ago. Rocky jumped on a woman and attacked her with kisses. Instead of pushing him away, she embraced him. It was love at first sight. Just like me and Coobs. Literally, that's what she did to me. She jumped on my knees, started licking my chin, and I was like, this is my dog. I loved her. Only problem, she was morbidly obese and drenched in sweat when it wasn't warm. I know you can't judge fitness by looks, but I've never met someone her size fit enough to run 2+ hours a day with a hyperactive dog or chase him when he jumps the fence. The woman asked about adopting Rocky, so I interrogated her as we do with all adopters. She gave me mostly yellow-green flags. She worked full-time, but had flexible hours and could work from home. She lived in an apartment, but next to a dog park, and so on. But I couldn't shake the uneasiness. I asked about her activity level, and she said she had an active lifestyle, but didn't elaborate. Active lifestyle has many meanings nowadays. I learned after having this job for a while that you have to go with your gut and prioritise animals over people's feelings. As excited as this woman was about Rocky, I saw him going home with her, getting little to no exercise, trashing a couch or two, and then being taken back here, or worse, to a kill shelter. I'd rather he spend a few more months here with staff who can meet his needs and wait for a better home. I told her she couldn't have him and suggested she look at smaller animals like cats. She got mad and said things I won't say here. I didn't mention weight, but I think she knew that was the reason I turned her away. I briefly doubted my decision. What if she was a good fit for Rocky? What if Rocky spends years in the shelter because I turned her away? But as soon as I saw her struggle to walk to her car, I knew I was right. My boss said he would do the same thing. Now apparently the woman I turned away has a large social media following, and she's been talking crap about the shelter, calling us fatphobic, and urging her followers to post bad reviews of us and not donate to us. Now people are leaving nasty reviews, and someone is harassing the owner via email. The owner also says I did the right thing, but I'm unsure. The emails have been getting worse and worse. I fear we will lose funds and adopters, all because I was too judgmental. Yana's my number one priority, but should I have just let Rocky go? Am I the bad guy? I have so many thoughts. As you all know, I am a big supporter of adopting animals. My Kyra is a rescue pup herself, and it was hard adopting. You have to go through a lot, you have to jump through a lot of hoops, you have like home visits and interviews, and different shelters have different requirements and stuff. So for example, when we tried looking at Dogs Trust, they didn't even give us 5 minutes because they were like, no, you live in a flat, you can't have any dog in a flat. Whereas when we went to Battersea, they were like, oh, absolutely, these are all city dogs, they're used to flats, they're used to lifts, we're in the city, like, you'll fit in fine as long as you have somewhere to exercise them and everything, absolutely okay. So, another one of the reasons I love Battersea. The other reason I love Battersea and why like me and Kyra have done a lot of like fundraising and raising money for them and stuff, and Kyra has her parody book Dogger Lessons, which I donate like all the profits as and when I get them to Battersea. One of the reasons I love Battersea is because they tend to match people based on personality, like with their animal and stuff. So they're like, if you seem like a good match, if you seem like you'll get on, if you seem like you're right for each other in that respect, they'll do everything they can to put you together. It's about finding animals the right people for them, the right family, and that's so important. And I completely understand that, like, especially when you have a bond with a dog like this woman did with Rocky, you want what's best for them, and you want the best possible life for them, and it's okay to have concerns. I mean, you're handing over this living creature to someone and saying, you're in charge of them now, you have to meet all their needs, and that's a terrifying thing, like, because you don't know if a person can meet their needs, but her weight is not an identifier of if she can meet those needs or not. And here's the thing, when it comes to animals or children or absolutely anyone, you don't have to meet every single one of their needs yourself, you just have to have the means to provide it. So let's say this woman does have a low fitness level and she can't run for 2 hours every day. What if she can pay to have the most amazing dog walkers? What if she can pay for the dog to go to doggy daycare? What if she can pay for the most amazing training sessions and experiences for the dog? What if she is willing to put in the time and energy to get fit alongside the dog? And, you know, what if this dog is what she needs to like kickstart her own exercise program, and they help each other out and they get fitter together, and the dog gets to play and she gets to exercise and they have this amazing bond together? There's so many things this woman and dog could do for each other, and her being obese isn't stopping that at all. Like when people go to adopt a kid, you don't say, oh, well, I'm sorry, you don't have a good knowledge of geography and this child needs to learn geography, so you can't adopt them. Because no, the parents send the kid to school where it learns geography and maths and science and everything else. The parent doesn't need to have that skill. They just have to provide the means to get that skill by saying, yes, I will send this child to school. I will be responsible for that. This woman absolutely could have taken on the responsibility of giving this dog all the exercise they needed, even if she wasn't doing it herself. She could absolutely have provided the means for this dog to have the most amazing lifestyle. Plus, you don't know if she had a partner, if she had family, if she had friends who were going to help out. All these different things. Like, this woman clearly made a judgment based on this woman's appearance and not on what she could actually offer the dog, and that is horrible. Yes, you're the bad guy. Simple as that. Sometimes with animals, the most important thing is that connection that people have, because when you have that connection and you have that love and you have that mutual respect, then everything else comes easier. The training and the learning and the trust and the being able to exercise and behavior and stuff. And like, if you love spending time with an animal, it's so much easier to like want to go out and exercise it and play with them and all this sort of stuff. So I think this woman stopped a potentially like beautiful, wonderful family getting together because she was a little bit prejudiced herself, and I don't think that's fair. I don't. Now, let's say on the other hand, like, this woman was completely alone and she didn't intend to exercise the dog herself and she couldn't afford to send it to dog walkers or daycare or anything like that, and she had no family and friends to help, and she worked 16 hours a day, then yeah, I could understand her saying, okay, probably not a good idea to send the dog home with you. I understand that. But this woman didn't bother to find out anything. She just looked at her and made a judgment purely on her appearance, and that's pretty disgusting. Let's look at some of the comments, see if there's anything interesting. Oh, this is an interesting one. The best thing to do would have been to have a home check and 2-week foster trial. That's a great idea. So the person says, this is my first thought too, as someone with lots of friends who work in rescue. Why not do foster to adopt? Let Rocky go home with her on a trial basis and see whether his needs are being met before making it official. There's so many options. That's genius. Yes, do that. Here you go. Also, she can literally hire a dog walker, or perhaps there's an off-leash dog park near her where she can tire him out without actually having to chase him. Not all modes of exercise would require her to chase after him. The whole thing is gross and not even logical. The poor doggy loved her and she wanted to give him a good home, and OP chose to ruin that based on absolute nonsense. Yes, thank you. Exactly, another one here. The question is, can she provide the means for his exercise needs? You assume because she's obese she can't, and that's absolute bullpoop. First of all, there are plenty of regular-sized folk who don't provide their dogs with the level of activity they need, absolutely true and heartbreaking. And second, how do you know she won't supplement what she can't do with doggy daycare, dog park trips, extra walks with dog walkers? The answer, you don't. You discriminated against her based on size. Exactly. Here you go, another one. How do you know this woman wasn't adopting a dog to help her continue on a fitness journey? Dogs are wonderful judges of character, and Rocky chose this woman for a reason. Okay, but there's a flip side to this, which most never consider. A rescue's other job is to ensure the dog isn't returned. Dogs like Rocky, I'm going to assume he has the same exercise requirements as a husky, need way more exercise than most prospects are aware of or accept. Once the honeymoon phase is over, reality kicks in hard. Dogs like Rocky are often returned for that reason. Having a bond and loving relationship may work for a Chihuahua, but it's far down the list when it comes to something like a husky. Yes and no. Obviously you don't want a dog to be returned, and obviously like moving them around from place to place and them not having that stability is going to be hard on the dog, especially emotionally, especially if they build up a connection and then the owner realizes that, okay, I can't actually deal with this, I'm sorry. So there is a downside to offering things like fostering options and stuff like that. I don't know, I kind of feel like if you do have that strong bond and that strong love, you're more likely to want to make it work, and it's better to give them a chance than to just discriminate against people who you don't like the look of and make assumptions about them and their lifestyles. Anyway, let me know what you think of that. It is difficult, and I kind of see the point, but also, I am on the side of the woman who wanted to adopt the dog here. Again, maybe that's my own bias showing because I'm such a dog lover myself and I've adopted myself, and when I fell in love with Kyra, I don't think anything could have kept us apart. If they turned around to us in Battersea and said, oh no, actually you can't have her, I would have been so heartbroken. I don't know how I would have got over that at all. Like the minute I met her I knew she was meant to be my girl, you know? So yeah, maybe I do have a little bias there, but ultimately I do have the dog's best interests at heart, so take that as you will. But anyway, this is where I think I'm going to leave this video today. I was going to cover 2 more, but my throat is really, really hurting and I think I need to rest it. So I might try and film the others later and make that into another video, but we'll see. I need to go rest this for now because I can hear myself starting to get croaky again and I'm in pain. But thank you for watching today. Sorry this was very, very dog focused. But I appreciate you taking the time to watch. I would love to hear your thoughts on both of these cases down in the comments below. And because I'm struggling a little to post too much at the minute because of my voice, if you are new here, don't forget I have a massive, massive back catalogue of videos of varying qualities that you can go and watch. I do have this playlist that I really like called Hidden Gems of videos that I put a lot of time and effort into that didn't really do well in terms of views. Maybe it was just the wrong time for the video, maybe it just wasn't a clickbaity enough title, maybe it's just something that people didn't realise would be interesting, but they're all videos I'm really proud of. A lot of them are kind of video essays, a lot of them are talking about cool things from history or science or all sorts of stuff, and I really love those videos. So if you want to check out more of my content, I'd recommend you start there if you want. But otherwise, thank you for watching. Please subscribe for more videos because I do try and make them whenever I can. It's just, I'm sure my voice will be back to normal soon. I'm sure I'll be better, but I'm going to work through it for now and I'm going to go rest a bit more. Yeah, I'm rambling at this point. Point is, thank you for watching today. I appreciate you a lot and I will see you again really, really soon.